Welcome to another edition of Great Health, Abundant Happiness, and Outrageous Love.
Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about manifesting things into your life. What is manifestation, right?
What is manifestation?
Well, manifestation is basically bringing something into your physical life through your own thoughts and beliefs and feelings. Right? You've heard a lot about manifesting. I just manifested it.
Right.
Oh, I won the lottery. I just manifested it. I manifested my new house. Right? What does that mean?
New job,
Right.
the person of my dreams. You hear that all the time, right? And there are so many things out there about manifesting what you want. And it's so simple.
Right.
I mean, we have seen it time and time again, right?
Yeah, it is simple. So we want to just kind of go over, someone was asking us about, how do I manifest something? So, we put down some easy steps to get your head around. There's a lot of different ways to look at this. What Karen and I do, we're sharing our life lessons with you guys. So basically we have our own ideas, and sometimes we check things out, on the internet. It's great with Googling. You can check your ideas against others. There's a lot of stuff all over the board. But, we'll be directionally correct, and this is what works for us. The first step really is you have to know exactly what you want.
Right.
Exactly. And we were talking about this a little bit before the video. If someone says, hey, I want $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. What are you going to do with $1 million? I don't know. I just want $1 million. Like, do you need it? And I just want $1 million. You have to know exactly what you want, why you need it, what you're going to do with it, and be very specific in your mind. So you have to be very clear about that goal. So know exactly what you want. And then the second step is basically feeling as if it's within reach. Now you actually have to feel like it's doable.
Right.
The other thing is, if you want a specific job, like if I want to be a brain surgeon. I could be a brain surgeon. I have to go to school, right? I know it's going to take time, but if I want to be a brain surgeon next week, and I just say I'm going to be a brain surgeon next week,
Right.
and I try to kid myself, I try to fake it till I make it. Inside, my logic is going to say, Jeffrey, you can't be a brain surgeon without going to some kind of school, right?
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Right. It has to be logical and attainable in, in the scope of the earth. Right.
Right. It has to be realistic. So, and when I say realistic, I want to be careful here too,
Right.
because there's a lot of people that say, I'm just being realistic, and they're actually being very negative.
Right.
Because when you manifest something and you reach out for some goals and you stretch yourself, sometimes you are stepping outside the bounds of what's realistic. And that's what happens to people that overachieve. They're doing things that it was thought that it was unrealistic to fly a plane, before it happened, or
Exactly.
turn on a light switch before there was lights. You just had basically candles going before Edison created the light.
People thought the world was flat.
Right, exactly.
And anybody that thought it was round, they were crazy.
Right.
So you have to put it into perspective. And going back to someone who wants $1 million, if somebody wants to manifest that they will be a millionaire by X, age, and they then do the steps, that is very probable that it will happen.
Exactly.
Right?
So if you believe that, and what Karen just said, if you set the goal and you take the steps to get there, can you get there? Absolutely. So if you
Right.
believe it, that's the second step. So feel it's within your reach. You have to believe it.
Right.
The third step really is setting the intention. Now, intention's broken down into two subsets. You have an inner intention, which is basically, I'm going to take the steps to make this happen. I am going to do what it takes to make it happen. If I want to run a marathon, I intend to run a marathon, which I did. I ran the Boston Marathon.
Yes, you did.
I wasn't a runner, and I set the intention to run the Boston Marathon. Well, we had to run a little bit after work every day. We swam miles in the pool, and we set up. And these are
You
guys,
trained for it.
yeah, these are the guys that I was
Right.
running the marathon with. You know, we trained for it. So we set the intention and we took the steps. Now, there's also outer intention, and that's the universe basically bringing it to you. Once you put your outer intention out there, the universe brings these things to you. And I guess to put it into words, you know, if it's a physical thing and you're doing all the steps to get there, you know, let's say it's a job. If you're doing all the steps to get there, that person that's doing the hiring is going to want to scoop you up. I mean, I guess to put that into some realistic terms. But basically, the universe is bringing that thing to you. So you're manifesting it. You're setting the intention in two ways. You're taking the steps towards it, but your outer intention that you put out there is allowing or letting the universe know to bring that to you, if that makes sense.
Exactly. You know, to make it so simple, Jeffrey and I had decided that we wanted to pay off our mortgage, and so we set that intention, and you know, it's definitely something that's possible for anybody, right? And then we set a plan of how we would do it, and we set a time frame of when we wanted to do it. We wrote it all out, and it happened almost to that day, right?
Yeah.
That we burned the
actual mortgage.
The actual mortgage.
I think I still have that somewhere in a little test tube.
I think so. So things like that, or if you want your dream job, like Jeffrey said, you know, you may be setting that intention, and maybe a job comes along and you didn't get that job. Don't let that get in your way. That was not the job. That was not the dream job that you're working towards. And so it's also really important, once you set these intentions, to, you know, really allow the appropriate amount of events and time to happen. But again, you have to be working it and planning it, thinking it, and sending all those great vibes out to the universe.
You just touched on really the last piece of the process is you said allow the time.
Right.
I mean, you just said that before I even said it, because you understand. You know, sometimes it takes time for these things to happen, and you have to let the process work. You have to let the universe bring those things to you. So you have to be patient, I guess. Use the word patience.
Right.
Which I wasn't always good about. You know, I'm getting better, I think, for those kinds of things. Right.
And I think that's so mission critical, because we can't expect the universe to know what we want. So we have to continually send out those intentions to the universe and let the universe know what we want. Send it out, you'll get it back. But give it the time for it to all happen and unfold the way it's supposed to.
Right. Karen has a story, but I just want to go back over the steps again, just to reiterate. Know exactly what you want, step number 1. Step number 2, feel that it's in your reach. Basically, believe. Step number 3 is set the intention, both inner and outer intention. And then the 4th piece is basically being patient and letting it work, and don't give up. Right? Those are basically the steps that we're going to lay out there for you.
Right.
But you have a story where
I
this was real, right?
Yes, this is a real story. But before that, I just want to say that if you're out there and you're saying, well, I've done all these things and this isn't happening, you need to believe 110% in the intentions that you're setting out. So if they're not happening, there is a flaw somewhere in one of those steps. That's why it's not happening. As soon as you can work through all of that and figure out why it's not happening, and my guess is that you're doing the same thing over and over again of something that's keeping it from happening.
Yeah. Most of the time it's some type of self-doubt.
Exactly.
Somewhere back in your mind you're saying, I don't really need it. Right, or worse, I don't deserve it,
right,
or I can't obtain it, whatever. So you need to think about that before you go after something. Make sure you really want it,
right,
and you really know why you want it,
right.
I mean,
and know that you deserve it.
Right.
We all deserve the things that we want.
Yeah.
right? So never have that self-doubt. Get rid of that right away. So quick story, my niece, whom I adore, moved from California to Colorado to take a new job with her brand new car, and she was here for 2 weeks and was hit on the highway from behind, and her car got totaled. And this car was necessary for her job, and it was a 4-wheel drive car because we do have snow here, and she's the job it required a lot of driving. So now she has absolutely no car, and her insurance didn't cover rentals. So she was given the option to go through her own insurance company or through the insurance company of the person who hit her. So she decided to go through the insurance company of the person who hit her because it was going to be more financially beneficial for her to get what she wanted, which at this point she wasn't 100% sure. So she wasn't getting much response and answers, and she called me up and asked me for some help. You know, she didn't know if she had to sue to get what she wanted or if she had to, you know, accept less. I mean, she really didn't know, and a lot of people don't. I mean, thank goodness we're not in car accidents all the time and don't have to deal with insurance. So I had a little more knowledge than she did, and I'm quite a bit older than she is. So I said, well, let me help you. Let's start by, what is it that you want? And she said,
step number one.
Step one. And Jeffrey was witness to all of this because there were several phone calls during this time. So you got to hear her answer for step number one. You know, what is it that you want? And what she wanted was her car replaced with the same car, which was probably not going to happen because that particular car was not something that was readily available, or a car that was better than what she had. And I said, okay, well, if that's what you want, then that's what we need to work towards.
I think the piece you're leaving out is, at the start, she was offered less than what the car was worth.
Yes.
So that was a start.
Right.
So sorry, just to reset this.
Exactly.
So that was the confusion. People were upset. Right. So now you're saying, what do you want? So you're going to step number one.
Exactly. So step number one, and I did say that she was wondering if she had to sue or take less than what the car was worth because she was offered less than what they had just paid for the car 2 weeks previous. So, you know, which is crazy to think that an accident that was not her fault, she was going to receive less money than what she had just paid 2 weeks prior. So we determined what she wanted, which was the car replaced with the same or better. And then, you know, then step two was knowing 100% that you were going to get what you desired and what you thought was fair, which was X amount of money to replace the car with everything that her car had in it, with the same brand of car, and the model that she wanted was not available. So actually we were now looking at a step up from that model. And she was very clear about, you know, everything that she wanted in the car, which she had in papers from the car before. And so then we went, the next step is to do the work to find out if we can replace it at that cost, which we could. So then we're working towards that outer intention, which is now we need X amount of money from the insurance company to buy this new car that's going to replace her old car that was going to make her very happy. So we just kept sending that out to the universe, and we were accepting nothing less. And it really wasn't that much time. It seemed like an awful long time because we spoke with so many people. But the key thing is to stay true to your intentions, right? Because a lot of times people get on the phone, and unfortunately with insurance companies, sometimes it is a difficult situation, and we had a couple of people that we dealt with, a couple of bullies that tried to make us take X amount, etc. But we stuck true to it, and we knew that we had to allow the appropriate time for this to manifest and happen. And it did. And she got exactly the amount of money that she wanted to buy a brand new car. And that's the way it works.
And it all worked out.
It worked out.
And we were watching. It's funny that we're doing this today because you showed me your what is that thing you showed me? It's all the good news. It's Smile something.
Oh, I love that. I've talked about that in videos. It's called Morning Smile.
Yeah.
And instead of the news that gives you everything that's sensationalized and bad, this is only good stuff and happy stuff and feel good stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Morning Smile.
Yeah.
It's an email that I get every single morning in my inbox. If you don't subscribe to that, subscribe to it, and it's something that I look at with my positive motivational videos in the morning with Jeffrey, and our meditation and Morning Smile.
Yeah.
We've added that to our morning routine because it's
anyway, the one you showed me this
awesome.
morning, this gal was in trying to buy a new car next to this other gentleman who was doing a transaction. He was trading in a car for a new car, and he overheard all of this, and she couldn't really afford the car, afford the payments, and I guess there were some tears, and she left. She was like in nursing school, and this guy just did a great thing, and he signed over his car that he was trading in to her, for not a penny, and signed it over to her. They called her back, and they did this. It was just a really feel-good story. So, I'm not sure if she was going through the process of manifesting the car. I can tell you she needed the car from the story I watched. It was for her to get back and forth to nursing school. So she really needed the car. She wanted a car. Probably didn't know how to get it done, but she believed she needed it. She needed to go to nursing school, and guess what? Somebody handed her one.
right. And she believed she needed it so much so that she went to the dealership, picked out a car, sat down with him, and was going through all of the paperwork. And it wasn't until he started talking about payments that were much higher than what I think she anticipated. Yeah. And the person who gave her the car was on the other side of the wall working his own deal, and he heard all of this.
Yeah.
So I think she had the intention.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
right?
just great. So it's just another example. You guys know this stuff happens every day. So just to go through the steps again, you have the steps of manifestation, and again, it's just basically bringing physical things into your reality through your beliefs and thoughts and feelings. Step one, you got to know exactly what you want, specifically. The more detail, the better. Step two, you got to feel it's within your reach. You got to believe you can do it. Really believe that you can get it done. Step three, set the intention, both inner intention and outer intention. And then be patient and let the process work. Sometimes we get over patient and we get impatient, and then we just say, hey, this didn't work, let me go do something else. Right. You've got to let the process work. So
and stick with it.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. Good
Excellent.
stuff.
Thanks for joining us. Wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love from the Nest at Copper Mountain.
And please click the subscribe button if you'd like to get more of these videos. We'd love to have you on board. Thanks.